Hey everyone, it's Mac here with Range Day, where every day is Range Day. Today we are going to be looking at the Ragnarok by T.Rex Arms. A simple but versatile kydex holster that has made it onto my range belt and the range belt of a couple other guys here on the channel. We will get into my thoughts on this piece of kydex here in a little bit, but first, let's roll that intro. I started shooting pretty regularly a few years ago. At first it was focusing on the fundamentals of marksmanship like grip, trigger control, tightening up those groups. But for anyone who's serious about bettering their capabilities with a firearm, plinking only gets you so far. I didn't know where exactly to go with this. All I know is I wanted to get better, and there wasn't anybody offering any classes in my hometown for a pistol course or even a carbine course or anything like that. But my buddy Taylor, who shoots with us here on the channel, showed me a company who is just as serious at educating the community as they were about making innovative products. Behold, T.Rex Arms. After having my virtual instructor Aimbotkin teach me the ways about the GAT, I started hunting down necessary gear to train with. After doing some research with a few range belt holsters and setups, I decided to go with the Ragnarok. I have two Ragnarok holsters, one for the Glock 17 and one for the SIG 226. Whoa. I know what you're thinking. I'm playing for both teams here. Team Glock, Team SIG. Well, no, I assure you, I'm just an equal opportunist when it comes to firearm and bettering my capabilities with them. We are just talking about the holsters today. I've got both Ragnaroks here with me on the table, and let's go ahead and get that safety check out of the way. Empty mag, unloaded Papa Glock. The SIG P226 Elite, empty mag, unloaded firearm. It never hurts to say these firearms are pointed in safe directions at walls with no occupants who live on the other side. When you order this from T.Rex Arms, they send you the kydex shell, the holster. There are some pre-drilled holes here in the kydex shell that, with the hardware they provide, you can mount your holster with your preferred mounting option. These holes are drilled in a pattern that makes it universal. This pattern allows you to fit it to a variety of hardware and gear from several companies such as Blackhawk and Safariland. I chose to go with mounting my Ragnaroks on the Safariland QDS system, which is pretty helpful. This QDS clips to a base plate which I've put on my Safariland mid-ride UBL. I like the mid-ride because the holster sits lower on my belt and closer to my hand. Less movement means less time it takes for me to draw from the holster. The QDS system also allows me to switch out holsters. If one day I want to run the SIG, I can unclip the Glock and put the SIG on, and vice versa. If you only have one pistol that you're serious about, you do not have to go with this base plate QDS system. You can actually just mount the Ragnarok directly to the UBL mid-ride. In between the QDS plate and the UBL mid-ride, I decided to add a thigh strap, which adds some extra belt security to your body and helps stabilize the holster when you draw. When you holster your firearm, there is a nice audible click. The retention can be adjusted with these screws here that have these rubber buffers or squishies or whatever the heck these are called. Something important to note is that there is no secondary retention method, so if you plan on using this for duty carry, that may not fly for protocol in your profession, so double check on that. There's plenty of clearance between the holster and the iron sights when the firearm is holstered, so it wouldn't be an issue if you use suppressor height sights. The muzzle end of the holster is open, so if you had a threaded barrel, you could still use this holster. As far as muzzle attachments go, I wouldn't use this holster with a suppressor. I'm not even sure if it works, but if you had a muzzle brake on the end, it would be reasonable as long as the brake wasn't wider than the muzzle end of your firearm. T.Rex Arms does make a suppressor-ready Ragnarok, so if you're interested in that, you can give that a try. I don't own any suppressors, so there's really no reason for me to get my hands on a suppressor-ready holster, but if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out. The Ragnaroks are light compatible, so if you choose to run a light on one of your pistols, you can check out one of those light compatible Ragnaroks. It's a pretty simple design, so you can imagine that the price would be pretty attractive for this holster. Depending on the color or patterns of the kydex you choose for your Ragnarok, and if you decide to customize it for light compatibility and such, at its base minimum you can get a Ragnarok for about 60 bucks. Now, that does not include the mounting system, so that costs a little bit more and it adds up, and you can tell that, oh well, I have the holster, so I gotta have something to mount it on. Well, I gotta have a belt, right, to mount all that on. And it starts to add up a little bit, but overall, it's pretty affordable. So be aware that if you're deciding to buy one of these, there are a few other things you need to make your Ragnarok functional. As much of a fan of T.Rex Arms that I am and some of the other guys here on the channel are, what kind of service would I be if I didn't provide a little bit of constructive criticism? The only con that I've noticed, and it truly isn't a con to me, is the fact that I've noticed a little bit of holster wear on the finish of the slide. I'm not going to sell or trade in any of these firearms, so it really doesn't affect anybody but the appearance of my firearms. But if you're just testing out a firearm, or you're borrowing a buddy's firearm and you happen to have a Ragnarok for it, or if you got a Ragnarok for a pistol you're not really sure of yet, and you're just testing it out, that's just something you need to be aware of. But it's just finish anyways. It isn't creating any mechanical impairments or causing any rust or anything like that. Besides, I like a little bit of wear on a gun. It makes it look battle worn. It makes it look like it's actually used and not kept in a gun safe. But I have problem with battle worn appearances if they were simulated with a sandblaster or sandpaper. If you're one of those, just don't do that, please. Overall, it's a wonderful holster. I've truly enjoyed using it, keeping it on my range belt here, which probably have a range belt, war belt, whatever you want to call this, setup video in the future, so stay tuned for that. If you liked our video, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. It really means a lot, supports the channel out, helps us get more content out for you all. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. We will get back to you. We answer every single comment. If you want to keep up with the channel, please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell icon. That way you get a notification anytime we post new content. This has been Mac with Range Day, where every day is Range Day. Thanks for watching.